next five we're gonna do. A lot of people, of course, when you say the Lakers, who's not number 16, the Lakers number 6 going into a season with Kobe Bryant, Andrew Bynum, Paul Gasol. Are you serious? Yes, I am serious. The Lakers are in trouble, y'all. I mean, unless they pull off a trade, and you're going to have to do it pretty much before too long. You only got 62 games. So you need to pull this trade off really before the season. But, if not, you need to do it fast, to get Dwight Howard in here. That's the only player that's out there that can really put them over the top. I mean, because nobody else is really that good. And I'm not even sure if they get Dwight Howard, they can win it this year. Because Dwight Howard is a good player, don't get me wrong, he's a dominant player. But if they give up a Pau Gasol and they give up or Andrew Bynum and somebody else, I mean, Dwight Howard basically is going to get you 15 to 20 points and 20 rebounds, which right now Bynum's going to do the same thing. I mean, he may not do it as dominant as Howard on defense, and he doesn't look as pretty, but he's almost the same player. I mean, you're dropping off a little bit with Bynum, but not that much. But if you give up Bynum, let's say Bynum and Gasol for Howard, I mean, who else you got, man? Or if you give up a Gasol and they really don't have nobody else to give up. So I really don't see how the Lakers can do it this year. I really don't. I mean, they may do it because they got Kobe Bryant, but look at Kobe, man. He's injured. Plus, he's going through a divorce, nasty divorce. That's going to harm him the whole year, y'all. I mean, they got a new coach. They lost Lamar Odom. Meta World Peace, whatever his name is this year. He's out of shape. It's going to take him some time to get in shape, if ever. And they really just don't have anybody. Their team is not deep at all. They lost Shannon Brown. So, I mean, Kobe is good, but I just don't think he's that good. But if you look at Chicago, they basically had D Rose. But the only difference is now the West, both conferences are stacked. So, I mean, like I said, I had Chicago number 5, but Chicago could go down lower, and the Lakers could go down lower. I mean, they really can. Let's say Kobe Bryant's out for, the first week, and Andrew Bynum. They're not going to win a game, or not many. So Lakers at 6. Number 7 was kind of tough for me, but based on last year, what they did in the playoffs, I got to go with Memphis. I mean, Memphis really surprised some people. Memphis was right there. I mean, they would have beat OKC if it hadn't been for a couple shots. I mean, they were right there, and they re-signed everybody, and they got Rudy Gay coming back, which Rudy Gay, it's going to be interesting to see how he fits in. Because last year, without him, Zach was the man. Zach was the man on offense. So when Rudy Gay gets back, is he going to continue to play within that system that they had developed with Zach being the man, or are he going to try to get his 20 points a game, which that's okay, but you got to get the ball inside to Zach first and work off of him. Because Zach is unstoppable. Zebo is unstoppable. Rudy Gay is stoppable. And Rudy Gay is coming from outside. So if Rudy Gay fits in and he works out, they're going to be better. So if they're better, I mean, they could really go past the Lakers in Chicago. I mean, I'm just that sold on Memphis. I like their coach. I like their point guard in Conley. I like O.J. Mayo. He showed, how good he was in the playoffs. The guy's tough. he's a tough player. He's an offensive player. He can play defense. O.J. Mayo, very underrated. Sam Young, I like that name, Sam Young. Good player off the bench. So Memphis is loaded. Now, they did lose Darrell Arthur for the year, so that's going to hurt them, but, I mean, Rudy Gay's back, so not too much. So Memphis at 7. New York Knicks at 8. This is kind of a interesting team. Going to be an interesting team this year. We all know they got the big three now. Stoudemire. Now you got Tyson Chandler and Carmelo. Carmelo is going to be with them a whole year. So this team could go as high as 4. You know, or they could just get into a gunning phase and drop. You know, you just never know what you're getting. I think they still need a point guard. You know, they signed Byron Davis, but, you know, Mike Bibby and Byron Davis, they're not going to help. I mean, I like Douglas, but I'm not sure if they have enough at guard. They could slip, but then again, you know, with Carmelo can carry a team by himself. And Stoudemire. And now you got Tyson Chandler. And don't underestimate the move they did to get Mike Woody, my man Woody, as the defensive coordinator or assistant coach, whatever you want to call it. But if he can get them to playing defense, you know, they could be a team to reckon because they got scores, man. I mean, those two together can go and give you 50 points. So you got to get 50 between the rest of the guys, you know, and you'll be okay and stop somebody. Yeah, that's going to be the problem. So you got New York at 8. Then we're going to come in with 9, Boston Celtics. Oh my God, Boston Celtics number 9 in power ratings. That's going to be interesting. They're old, man. I mean, and they've been making it through these years, but with these 3 in a rows and 5 games and 5 nights and stuff like that, man, that's gotta take a toll on even a young, deep team. But you get these old heads, man, I just don't see how Boston can do it this year, man. I mean, they would really surprise me if they make it through. You know, I think they're going to be a playoff team, and they'll probably finish in the top. You know, they'll probably get home court in the playoffs, hopefully. But I just don't see them doing anything this year. I mean, Danny Ainge, I'm really not sold on him. You know, he picked up, who did he pick up? Brandon Bass. I mean, but Brandon Bass, you know, Brandon Bass is Brandon Bass. He ain't going to, like, put you over the top. They lost Big Baby, so pretty much evened out. I mean, so you got Boston and Denver. I mean, people are actually picking Denver to win the West this year. I've seen a couple of experts that are picking Denver to win the West. I just don't see it, man. I mean, yeah, they re-signed Nene. But, you know, outside of that, what do they have? They lost Carmelo. They may not get J.R. Smith back or Kmart. So you're talking about 3 starters right there. I mean, I know George Karl's a good coach, but I just don't see where everybody's getting off on this Denver gonna finish in the top 5 or win the West. I mean, I may be wrong, but I don't see it. So you got Denver, then you get New Orleans. I mean, New Orleans, I think, is going to be a sleeper team. Everybody thinks New Orleans is taking a step back, but you got to think about it, man. They picked up some really good players for one player. And their coach, man, I really was impressed with him last year. So you add a Gordon, you know, you add a Chris Kaler. And, you know, you add, who else was it in that trade? You add that to what they had, which they didn't have much, you know, but I think they're going to surprise some people. I could be wrong. I mean, they could totally drop off the map, but I think they're going to be pretty good this year. I'll say they'll make the playoffs. I'll put it that way. Next, Atlanta. Atlanta's Atlanta. I mean, they talented team. Not overly talented, not underly talented. They just right there. I mean, they're vanilla. Larry Drew in his second year. It surprised me. I gotta admit, they did do better in the playoffs than I thought they were gonna do. But they just don't have much that's gonna make you say they're gonna be a contender. I mean, they're gonna be there. They'll probably finish in the top 5 in the East. If they're lucky. The East has gotten better this year. So, I mean, they'll probably finish in the top 5, but I just don't see how they're going to be a contender. I mean, they're not going to ever make any major move now. They could surprise me and get to Dwight Howard. That will put him over the top. I mean, that would put him up in the higher echelon. He's from Atlanta. Outside of getting something like that, they're going to finish where they may drop off a little bit, but they could finish higher. Orlando, man, I'm telling you, they just I think they're going to disappoint people because I just don't see how they can keep Howard. I mean, the guy is a free agent after this year, and really they kind of, by not moving him now, they don't have a lot to get for him. I mean, they're not going to get Chris Paul. I don't think that Kobe's going to leave the Lakers, even though, you're hearing rumblings. I just don't see how they're going to do that. LeBron's set in Miami at least for another year. I just don't see who they can get that's going to put them, in the top. And they got to get rid of him, man, because you cannot afford to let this guy walk. But they're going to end up taking some pretty good players back for him, but nothing that they should have got rid of him a long time ago so they could get some real good players back for him. And now teams are just going to wait him out. I think the Lakers are going to probably end up with him. But they're going to wait him out, man, because they know they got to get rid of him before the trade deadline this year. They're not going to take it all the way to the end. So I'm going to go with 13 because, I mean, if they start losing, dude's just like, I'm not going to risk getting injured. I'm not going to play hard. He don't have no reason to play hard. People know who he is, so I'm going to put them at 13. Portland just always there. They could finish higher than this, but they're losing Brandon Roy, who he was injured a lot last year, and Aldridge has been injured a lot. I just don't see how they're going to make a lot of noise out west. They got a good coach. They got a good system. They got good fans, a good owner, everything. But they just don't have a lot of talent. I mean, they got pretty good talent, but they don't have a lot of talent. Wow, this next one, San Antonio. Wow, I got San Antonio at 15. I think I may be a little bit low. I just don't really like them, to be honest with you. That's why I got them so low. But if you think about it, man, they're getting older. And they're not really picking up anybody. They never like to go out and get anybody. They think Tim Duncan's going to live forever and Manu's going to be Manu forever and Tony Parker. These guys are old, man. These guys are old. They're not going to do it. Especially you got these, they like the Celtics, but they're not as good as the Celtics. I got them way down at 15. I mean, I might be wrong. And they'll probably finish higher than that just because they're so smart. But when they get to the playoffs, they're not going to do anything. They're going to be broke down. Broke down. And this last team that's going to sneak in, I was torn between this team, Utah, Golden State, New Jersey, but I went with Utah because they have a lot more talent than a lot of teams. I mean, we go with Al Jefferson, Favors, guy from New Jersey, point guard. I mean, they got pretty good talent. Millsaps. Boy, Hayward's going to be pretty good. They got some good talent over there. Now they got Josh Howard and Jamal Tinsley. I saw Jamal Tinsley can still ball. I mean, dude's always been able to ball. I mean, that's nothing that you can say he can't ball. It's just been his head. But Jamal Tinsley, Josh Howard, Favors for a whole year. Team got some talent, man. So I think Utah could possibly slide up, as far as 11 or 12. I mean, if it starts all coming together, it could happen for them. So that's my playoff teams, my 16 playoff teams. My bubble teams were Golden State. I really like them. I really want them to do well. I like Mark Jackson. I like Monte Ellis. But, man, they just kind of like snake bit, man. I mean, Curry, I think they need to move him, or Ellis. One of the two they got to move. I mean, Curry stays hurt all the time. Great player, but stays hurt all the time. I mean, it looks like his ankle's going to be a constant problem. Monte Ellis is one of the most talented players in the league, but his head, man, I mean, come on, sending text messages to some lady that, I mean, I hate to say it, but she wasn't all that at all. Dude, come on, man. So he needs a change of scenery. He needs something. He needs a wake-up call, man. One of the most talented players in the league. And they got talent. I like the kid Thompson, man. He's going to be a good player. They got some pieces, but they don't have enough. They don't have enough to get in the playoffs. New Jersey, I mean, if they get Dwight Howard, of course they're going to be probably top 10. If you can keep, him and the point guard together, Deron Williams, and anything else they got, which ain't much. Chris Humphries, come on. I mean, they just don't have it, man. They need to pick up 3 or 4 good players. Sacramento could surprise some people, but I don't think they will, but they could. They won't make the playoffs. Houston could, they signed Dallenberg this year, this week, today, matter of fact. So, they could sneak in there, but I think my 16 are pretty solid. Philly, I left out Philly and Charlotte and Milwaukee, which Milwaukee is pretty good. Bogut, it's going to depend on if he stays healthy, which most time he doesn't, So I could be wrong, but this is who I'm going with, my 16. So this is what I got, and thanks for tuning in. And next week we'll have another episode of The Hoops Doctor here in beautiful downtown Stone Mountain.
And it was